Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight, more sad news on the VR front, unfortunately. So we are officially getting release dates and prices for the new PSVR2. PlayStation VR2 is slated to officially launch on February 22nd of 2023. And the price has been announced, and whoa, is it a doozy. The initial base price of this is going to be $549.99 US. I don't know why companies are still doing this. You might as well just call it $550 because that's what it is. We're going to refer to it as $550. And, so what do you get for that? You get a PSVR2 headset, PSVR2 Sense controllers, and the stereo headphones. And they also offer a couple of other bundles. Thank you, Vanna. They have the PSVR2 Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle, which is $599.99 or $600 US dollars. Includes the PlayStation Store voucher for Horizon Call of the Mountain. You don't even get a disc or anything. It's just a voucher. It comes with the headset, the Sense controllers, and the stereo headphones. All this stuff charges and plugs in USB to charge. But if you would like a nice, cool docking station for this, you can also purchase that separately for another $49.99. So for another $50, you can get this cool, simple charging station that all does it, or you can plug it all in individually by USBs. What the hell are they thinking? Is what I am going to start this off with. I'm going to just start this off with Nick. Nick, what the hell do you think Sony is thinking, making this thing way more expensive than a PS5?
I guess they're thinking people will buy it. I don't know. That's more, like I said, it's more expensive than the PlayStation 5 to buy one of these. It's kind of like the Meta Quest Pro in a sense, where this is only going to be for those enthusiasts, right? Those VR enthusiasts that will go out and buy a Pro or spend exorbitant amount of money to purchase VR headsets and various things that they want, regardless of price. People already have a hard time getting a hold of PlayStation 5s. It's getting easier than it was, right? A lot more people have them now than before. But I mean that's $550 for a VR headset. They did have some games announced. I'm sure the games will look cool and stuff, but it's like, do you want to spend $550 on a VR headset? Me and Shane have PlayStation 4 VR heads with the first VR headset, and I think we both got ours when they were on sale, right? Like holiday sale or something like that. And they came with like 2 games and the VR headset and everything like that for like cheaper than they were. And, that was the only time that we ended up picking one up. And while they're cool, VR is a cool concept and they're cool little devices, they aren't $550 cool, right? Like we've talked about VR before, but VR is a really cool thing. But if you look online and you look at a lot of people that have VR headsets, you'll know most, not all, but most don't typically play their VR like 99% of the time, right? They usually play on their PC or on their consoles, just hooked up to a television, and then they might strap on a VR headset once in a while to play a game for a little bit of time, and then they, because you can't. I mean, having a headset strapped to your head for hours on end, it gets very bothersome to anybody, having to do that. So even with me, like I can only play VR for like maybe an hour at the most, and then I'm ready to take that damn thing off my head. So they ain't $550 worth. I don't know what Sony's thinking. I guess they think that, I guess the people are very loyal to either console, and maybe they're looking at that loyalty, or hey, we can sell our PlayStation can do no wrong, so we can sell this at an exorbitant price and people will buy it. Those dumb people will buy it. Is maybe what they're thinking. That's the only thing I can think of, because we talked about this before. I know we talked about the PlayStation VR, and I think one of the questions we asked is, do we think it's going to be more expensive than the PlayStation 5? And I want to say one of us, and I can't remember who, said yes, it would be. And we thought, nah, that can't be right. I mean, you might be right, but clearly, whoever that was, one of us said it, was clearly right. It was more expensive than the PlayStation 5. And it's going to be interesting to see the sales numbers on this, the pre-order numbers and the sales numbers, because I just don't see a lot of people. I don't see a lot of people jumping on it because, besides Horizon, the Mountain game, I know they have a couple of other games that I've seen that are coming out for it, which they look like your standard VR game. Like there's nothing, Horizon Call of the Mountain might be really cool looking, but these other ones are your typical like VR entry games that, don't look like, oh my gosh, I need this new headset because I want to play that, right? Horizon might be that, but these other ones don't seem that way. So really you're spending at the moment, you're going to spend $550 on a VR headset for one game, right? And if this VR headset doesn't get the reception that Sony's hoping for, that's going to deter a lot of developers from creating games for the VR headset. So now you're going to have a $550 system with nothing to play on it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, Sony, you can suck butts because there's no way on God's green earth I would pay $550 for it. I don't care if it gets rid of the motion sickness that I get from some games. That's just too much. And you're absolutely right about the games. You take out the launch window, you're going to have everybody that developed the shovelware for the Wii is going to be slapping it on the freaking PlayStation VR stuff because that's what's a lot on the the regular VR, PlayStation VR. There's lots of shovelware, and that's all this thing's going to have for a while. They have announced some really cool games. I can't think of any though that are $550 that are worth me paying $550 for in any form or fashion. There's you don't get a game with a system for that much. The headset, do you absolutely have to have that in the bundle? I mean, really? Because Nick, I believe you have one of the Sony headsets, don't you? I can't remember.
What are you talking about?
The Sony headset, yeah. Didn't that?
Oh yeah,
that's part of the
3D
bundle.
Headphones.
Yeah, isn't that now that's part of the bundle, right?
I don't think it's the Pulse 3D ones. No,
you don't think it's the 3D ones?
No, it doesn't say that it is the Pulse 3D ones. It just says stereo headphones, which could mean
earbuds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
because none of the screenshots show a nice heavy duty headset.
It's a Walkman.
Yeah. So, if you're not even getting the Pulse 3D, headphones, that's even more reason never to buy this. Nothing they have announced game wise makes me want to play it. Horizon is really cool, but the gameplay for it in VR doesn't look interesting to me. It's a cool looking world, but I don't want to play it. And your reasoning, why would Sony, charge an exorbitant price for this? Well, that's easy because people will pay for it. There are diehard fans that see no wrong with Sony. It's Sony games, consoles and stuff are, in my mind, very similar to Apple products. You have people that no matter what, they are going to have Apple and Apple only. Not that they're better, not that, they're just a great company. It's because it is an Apple. And that's what Sony has become. They have so many anti-consumer policies and things. It's unreal, but they have followers that are just diehard and devoted no matter what they do. And this price point really, shows that they do not care. Now, granted, this thing, I don't do tech, but from everything they've said, this thing sounds strong. It sounds cool. It sounds powerful. It sounds like it could do a lot of really interesting things. That being said, I don't care enough about that to spend the $550, and I think VR is really damn cool in its way. I probably enjoy it more than Nick does. I could play longer than an hour. Um, I like to put on a VR headset and watch movies sometimes because it just makes you feel like you're in a big screen. Uh, but nothing for 550. I wished it wasn't this price point because I was kind of excited for it. I really was. I was still going to wait for a sale to get it, but now I know the sale that I'm going to be waiting on. It's going to be right after PlayStation VR 3 hits. So that's just where I'm at. And it saddens me and it angers me that Sony's going with such a high price point. But somebody's going to buy it. And if they don't, it's going to crash and that's it. But Sony's still going to make money on this thing. I guarantee it. Pat, what about you? Mr. I was waiting for it and now I don't want to wait for it no more.
Yep, I'm the only one without a VR headset of any kind, and I was really looking forward to hoping the PSVR2 would be in a comparable price range of $200 to $300, but that's blown out of the water, and which means I will not be getting a VR headset at this neither. I held out on getting the Quest, the most, not the Pro, obviously, but the Quest, because I was like, well, the PSVR is coming out, and maybe it'll be like $300. Well, in the meantime, while I held out for that, Mr. douchebag Zuckerberg decided to raise the price of the Quest, so I will not be getting one of those either, because I think that I agree with Nick a little bit more. I think that VR is still a gimmick, and it's not worth me spending more than I spent for my PlayStation for a gimmick. So I will be out until it reaches that $250 on sale Christmas special price, which may never happen. So I don't know Sony's thought process. Maybe Sony's just kind of at the point where they're like, we're tired of losing money on hardware sales or getting break even. They're like, we want to make a profit. So they're pushing everything out the highest dollar they think they can get. Because I don't see how they can say that this headset is worth more than the PS5. It is what it is at that point, right? That they're going to charge what they are. They're either going to sell or they're not. I think they have a diehard fan base, enough of a diehard fan base that they will sell. Will they sell out? Probably. Knowing Sony fans, they will probably sell out because people are just going to buy them. It comes with the Call of the Mountain Horizon game plus like 11 more launch titles were announced. So they've got a list, and like a lot from what I'm seeing, a lot of the lists are just ports, right? They're just ports going to the PSVR. So how good those will be? Will they take advantage of the new PSVR technology that's for the PSVR2 and, not rehash technology from the old VR? Well, time will tell, right? I mean, obviously Horizon, the big launch title game, is going to be probably using all the bells and whistles of the headset, but unfortunately, Horizon is not going to be able to persuade me to purchase this. Unless for some reason I just have an extremely large windfall of cash, which I highly doubt will happen. I don't see myself buying the PSVR 2 just for Horizon. Don't, even though that's my game. Horizon is my game. I love that game. But I'm not paying $550 just to play that game, because out of the list of games that they have listed here, that's the game I want to play. That's it. Maybe some old PS titles, but we were told a while back that the PSVR 2 is not backwards compatible. So you get 12 games at launch, and what else am I going to get? Bupkis for who knows how long, especially in this day and age with COVID pushes. Everybody's working remote. Games are pushing left and right. It'll be another year before we get another 2 games on PSVR. So here's hoping it goes on sale for $200. Maybe I'll get one then, but until then, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm, with that price point, that just makes me want to buy an Index instead. Because with an Index, there's a ton of, Half-Life Alyx for one, which I've played through the Quest 2, which is kind of a,
in potato mode, right?
Yeah. Duct tape version of it. But, that's on PC. So there's so many options for VR games, and there's so many VR games out there, and that's still a really good headset. So at that price point, if I'm going to spend $550, I'd rather just take that $550 and buy an Index.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with that at all. I mean, I don't know what the spec difference is between the Valve Index and the PlayStation VR2, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna be able to play a lot of games with the Index comparatively. Even with the PlayStation VR out now, I don't know what their total video game count is for it, but I've only played a handful. I've played some really good ones. Don't get me wrong. Rogue Squadron in PlayStation VR is fantastic. Doom VR is a hoot. That was a little hard to play because it caused me to get motion sickness pretty good. But there's some that don't. So, but I would rather go for quantity, even if the PlayStation VR2 is more powerful than the Index. I'm going to get a lot more games on the Index, anyways.
Right. I mean, and the PSVR 2 will have some better resolutions and stuff like that. The Valve Index has a higher refresh rate just because it plugged into PC. That's a notable thing. It's going to have like 144, where I hear that the PSVR 2 will top out at 120 hertz on your refresh rates and things like that. But, there's going to be positives and negatives for each, right? You're going to get this with that and this with the other thing. I mean, because just think of like how the Valve Index tracks like controllers and stuff like that is through their external sensors. And like the PSVR 2, how they track controllers is the cameras on the outside of the headset. So if your headset loses field of view of the controller, it freaks out, just like everything else. If you look at like the Quest will do the same thing because there's no external field of view to track, the controllers in correspondence to the headset and things like that. So there are things that you will lose having a all-in-one self-contained system. Now they're getting better and better as time goes on, and things like that. But it's, each has their benefits and each has their drawbacks, right? So it's whatever. You could probably get more games, like I said, on the Valve Index that you're going to get on the PSVR 2, especially because they killed the backwards compatibility of playing any PSVR games on the PSVR 2. So at that point, it's almost a lose situation until maybe 2 years down the road when they have a back catalog worth playing. But, look at like PlayStation, the PS5. That thing is so hard to get a hold of. There's no such thing as a holiday sale right now. Will there be a holiday sale in 2 years? Probably not. 5 years? Maybe. But I can see the PSVR 2 going the same way unless it tanks. And what I mean by tanks is just they don't sell out. They keep selling an average of 20 to 50% of stock, and it just stays always in stock, and they don't have a problem with restock. Then it may go on sale, but but that's after like a year or two from now before it finally decides to put on sale. But that's only if it stays fully stocked and stores have a hard time getting rid of it, which I think for the average consumer, that will be a problem because $550 is hard to swallow for something that you still have to have the PlayStation to play, the PS5. It's not like I can buy the headset and not have to have a PlayStation to plug into, right? I mean, I have to have the PlayStation to make it work or else it's done. So I had to have PS5 specifically, I should say, to make it work. Not even a PS4 or anything like that. So it's a niche market. So basically, if you don't have a PlayStation and you're interested in the PSVR 2, a Valve Index is a cheaper buy. Because you're looking at a $900 versus $1,050 without a game. And the Valve Index doesn't come with a game neither. It's just all the hardware and the components, and that's like the headset, or that's the headset, the controllers, the external sensors, and things like that for $900. Versus like this is $1,050 just to get you started. So it's a little hard pill to swallow. For me, it's going to be a very hard pill to swallow because I'm not buying one. Now, if they maybe get it below $300, then I'll give it a second look. But that's just me. Are either of you guys going to buy this thing?
Nope. Not at all.
Yeah. One day when they bring the price down to $250, yeah, I might.
Right.
If it got to like, if they put it on sale for like, if they got it down to like $350, I would consider it at that price.
You would consider $350?
Yeah, because I think I bought the original PlayStation VR at $350, or it was $300 or $350. So I could see myself I could see myself thinking about buying one if they went on sale for that much money. I don't see it ever happening, or if it does, it's going to be a long time. But yeah, even when you're talking about, you're talking about the PSVR2, needing the PlayStation 5 in the index, you're needing a powerful PC that can do VR, right? But it also comes into play as well is for those people that don't have a powerful PC or that don't have a PlayStation 5, even with the price hike, then you have the Meta Quest at that point, right? The Quest 2, you don't need any extra hardware. You just need the headset. And they're coming out with even though they have the Quest Pro that just came out, which is stupid expensive, they do have the Quest 3 coming out. And that one I'm sure is probably going to be, I don't know, maybe knock on wood, maybe a less, more cheaper option than the Pro, right? But for those people that don't have a PlayStation 5, maybe not interested in PlayStation 5, but want to experience VR and want to have that, there's a lot better options. So yeah, I mean, the thing that sucks about the PlayStation VR 2 is, you're only gearing toward those people that have a PlayStation 5. And they've already spent $500 on that, which is, even for us buying Xboxes and PlayStations, which we all have, that $500, that was hard to swallow, right? But I mean, we have backwards compatibility and a ton of games to play through, right? We have this huge library, and it's like, okay, that makes it a little bit better. But especially without the backwards compatibility, now you have to invest in new games. Even if you had the PlayStation VR before and you bought a lot of VR games, not having that backwards compatibility, I would think would be a huge burden for PlayStation on people picking up a VR2, right? Because a lot of people invested in the VR1, bought a ton of games for them, and now they can't bring those over and play them, because they would probably run better, right? You think about like Vader Immortal and some of those games that maybe didn't run like super great on the original PlayStation VR. Now the VR2 would probably run a lot better. And you just can't experience those games so.
Right. Yeah. I think the unfortunate part is that when the Meta Quest 3 comes out next year, it's going to be a $300 to $500 headset. I would say it's probably closer to $500. They may have like a really cheap model for $400, and then kind of like they have with the Quest and the Quest 2, the I think it's $400 and $500 headset now. It used to be $300 and $400, I think is what it was, $299 and $399. So they had that recent $100 price hike, and I held off because I should have got a Quest 2, but I held off in anticipation that the PSVR 2 would be more affordable. And we see how that did. It bit me in the ass. It's not affordable. So here I am without a VR headset still and out of the group, and I will suffer the consequences of my actions.
Well, Pat, there is good news. You can go to Walmart right now, and on their toy aisle, they got one that you just slide your phone right into.
I have one of those Google boxes. I have one of the Google Alphabet boxes that you put your phone into. I think it was given to me as a gift.
Somebody must not like you.
It's about the cheesiest thing. I think they call it Google Cardboard or whatever. It's about the cheesiest thing you can buy and do. But whatever. All right. Well, you guys got anything else you want to say before I go cry myself to sleep over this one that I missed out on a deal for the Quest and now I'm not going to get one?
VR, not at that price.
I wish it was cheaper. I really do. I think if it was cheaper, I think we'd all probably be in on getting one. But
no, absolutely.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think out there on YouTube land. Are you going to buy one of these at $550 price point? Would you buy one if you could afford it? That's the whole question too, right? Can you afford one? If you could afford one, do you think you would actually buy one at that cost? Is it cost effective? Let us know down in the comments what you think about that. And we're about the end of the show. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, come on, please subscribe. Help us out here. Don't forget to like this video. And don't forget to hit that bell for notifications and get notified every time we post new videos. And I hope you enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.